Who stands out to you?
What are you having for dinner in 3 weeks? 3 weeks from today, what are you having for dinner? You don't know, right? You have no idea. Donald Trump doesn't know. So saying who, what I always ask people is say who he should pick, who he will pick, right? To me, that's kind of the way to think about it, because who he will pick, I don't believe is knowable. The two who I have my eyes on based on knowing what Donald Trump is looking for, studying Donald Trump's decision making, and talk to people around him. The two I have my eyes on, let's see if they're both up there. Yes, they are. Burgum and Rubio. Okay? He wants someone who will do no harm. He wants someone who can raise $1 billion. He wants someone who can help him win and help him govern. And he wants someone that the American people and the press will look at and say, yeah, that person's ready to be president. And I think if you take those as what he's looking for, and what is always the case, but is always a factor when you're talking about a Donald Trump personnel decision, is he has this concept in his mind of who looks like they're from central casting. And I think he looks at Rubio and Burgum and probably sees that. So if those are the things that it will determine who he picks, if I'm right about that, it leads me to Burgum and Rubio. And I floated that the other day, and I got a lot of informed thumbs up from folks whose judgment and knowledge I trust. So I say Burgum and Rubio today are the most likely.
Okay. All right. On the other side, though, we know what is set for President Biden. It is Joe Biden and it's Kamala Harris. And Deneen, it's a 2020 matchup again with those two. They're obviously watching behind the scenes. What do you think about their stock right now and how perhaps the American public views them this time around 4 years later?
Yeah, they're having a really bad time with their numbers and supporters, young voters, black voters, Hispanic voters. And look, the promises that they made are just not even there on the radar screen. And look at the economy as we see it, the inflation, the open border. That is like one of the top issues that Americans are frustrated and concerned about, because it is up close and personal. It's not just a southern border issue. It's in your backyard issue. So Biden's policies, Kamala's policies, they have harmed the country, and it has resonated throughout the world, really.
That's a great point. Timothy, let's talk about that. I mean, he doesn't really have much choice, President Biden, as to who is going to be his running mate. It'll be Harris. What do you make of that situation? And given his mental acuity, we do know that that's been raised in the Time magazine article. It's been brought up multiple times on the campaign. Does Kamala Harris hurt President Biden?
I think she's his strongest weapon right now because of her youth, because of the fact that she served as a United States Senator for California, fourth largest economy in the world, fifth, advised back and forth. She's very effective in terms of the communications, but the problem is President Biden is not. His age is clearly being shown. Even though he's only 4 years older than former President Trump, he's aged differently. Not everybody ages the same. And whether it is his mental acuity, as you've stated, or his ability to give a consistent message, I think he's more of the problem than the solution for the Harris-Biden ticket. He should be putting Harris in front, and particularly in some of those swing state areas with women who are evaluating the issues regarding reproductive rights. And I think that's where Kamala Harris, though she is clearly far on the left on that side, I think the fact that that issue of reproductive health care is impacting both sides of the aisle, I think she is a more effective voice than President Biden right now.
Interesting strategy. Mark, any chance the White House is listening in? The campaign is hearing that and following that approach?
Well, they do set their morning schedule around being able to make sure to watch the program, so chances are they're watching us in real time. Look, Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris, and you'll recall when he picked her, people reacted positively to it. Her performance in the office has not reassured not just a lot of the American public, but a lot of people around Joe Biden. And she is going to be prepared for her debate. If there is a debate, she'll be prepared for it. I think she'll probably exceed expectations. But part of what the Trump campaign is gaming out is how do they take advantage of what they see in the focus groups and the polling, which is that if Trump can pick someone who contrasts favorably to Kamala Harris with a lot of voter expectation, even for those voting for Joe Biden, that he won't make it all 4 years, they think that that's a way to make the vice presidential debate and the vice presidential matchup in the minds of voters actually matter when it typically does not.